This is Valley News Live at 10.
New tonight at 10. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nishay Taylor. A man is in jail after threatening to shoot a bartender at a Grand Forks restaurant. The Grand Forks Police Department says they were dispatched to Ellie's Ivy restaurant on 3rd Street this afternoon. They say Trayvon Booth was heavily intoxicated. The bartender then refused to serve him any more alcohol. That's when Booth threatened to shoot the bartender. Booth was arrested at the restaurant, and police say he did not have any weapons on him at the time. Booth now faces charges for terrorizing. Well, it looks like the rest of our Labor Day weekend will be filled with some sunshine and warm temperatures. Jim is here now with details. Jim.
Thanks, Nishay. Right now we're looking at the sky cam out here in South Fargo. It's hard to see on this view, but there is a faint glimmer of the northern lights, which we have a chance to see tonight. If you want to go see them, go take a step outside of town. Just go to the north, just a little bit, maybe 10, 15 miles outside, and you have a chance if you look toward the horizon, but in the north. But temperatures as you go out will be pretty cool for this time of year, 56 in Fargo, and a little warmer out west, 58 in Jamestown, and pretty cool in Bemidji, 52 there. Sky conditions are perfect for if you want to go outside and see those northern lights. You have to zoom all the way out until we get to Chicago and Cincinnati before we can get any sort of rain in our picture. And I'll let you know how long we will have those clear skies and cool conditions coming up next, Nishay.
Well, it's pretty cool that you were able to catch it on that sky cam there so you could finally see it.
Oh yeah, that was the first time I'd seen them.
All right, well, thank you so much. New information about a fire that took place earlier this afternoon. One person was rescued from the roof of a multiplex home after a fire was found inside. Fargo fire crews were called just before 2:15 this afternoon to the 300 block of 8th Avenue South. When they arrived, flames were seen coming from the 2nd and 3rd floors. Authorities say the fire was put out within 30 minutes. All of the other occupants were able to safely get out before crews arrived, and 2 cats were also rescued and were found unharmed. 3 of the residents of the home are being temporarily displaced. The cause is still being investigated. This afternoon, a West Fargo man died after his vehicle hit a pillar along I-29. Authorities say the vehicle was traveling on I-29 when it hit a pillar that supports the I-94 interchange that dumps onto I-29. In this video sent in to us by Kenneth Hunter, you can see a blue vehicle with a severe front end damage. After the impact, the vehicle came to a rest in a right lane along I-29. Authorities say the man died while on the scene. 2 people from Grand Forks died last night in a crash near Crookston. The crash happened on Highway 2 near South Road just after 11:30 last night. The Minnesota State Patrol says a car left the roadway and later hit a tree, killing both of the occupants. Now, those occupants were a 35-year-old woman and a 33-year-old man, both of Grand Forks. Authorities are continuing to investigate the cause of the crash. A 13-year-old from Climax was hurt in a collision involving 2 off-road vehicles in Menomonee County. According to a Minnesota State Patrol report, both off-road vehicles were heading west on Highway 113 when they collided. The 46-year-old driver of the second off-road vehicle was not harmed in the crash. Fargo PD were called to a home early this morning for a domestic assault. Police say they got the call just before 3 a.m. to respond to the 1900 block of 25th Street South. They say a person had been assaulted with a BB gun pistol. The victim was taken to a local hospital to be treated for their injuries. Police say no arrests have been made. The investigation is still ongoing. North Dakota Supreme Court has reversed a lower court decision that sided with a Houston-based energy company over disputed oil and natural gas royalties. A 2016 audit by the Department of Trust Lands claimed the company was underpaying royalties to the agency that manages several state trust funds, including one that benefits public schools. A judge ruled last year the state's claim of a breach of contract could not be proven because the state failed to provide, quote, any contract or lease. Labor Day weekend is typically a busy weekend on the roads as folks celebrate the unofficial end of summer. In an effort to reduce crashes, law enforcement will be on the lookout for people speeding, not wearing their seatbelts, drinking and driving distracted. North Dakota law enforcement gave out nearly 2,500 citations during a Click It or Ticket campaign back in July and August. Minnesota is one of 17 states considering California's electric car mandate. The state's mandate is the strictest in the nation, which requires all new cars, pickups, and SUVs to be electric or hydrogen powered by 2035. Under the Clean Air Act, states must abide by the federal government standard vehicle emission standards unless they at least partially opt to follow California's stricter requirements. Minnesota Pollution Control Agency officials say the state would have to launch an entirely new rulemaking process to adopt California's changes. Some veterans will soon be able to obtain abortions no matter what state they live in. The Biden administration submitted a new rule allowing the Veterans Affairs healthcare system to provide abortions when the mother's life is at risk or in cases of rape or incest. Women will not be required to provide police reports or other evidence of rape or incest. The rule specifically protects women who seek abortions and VA providers who perform them from liability under any such law. The new rule applies to all veterans and their beneficiaries covered under VA health plans. Authorities in Mississippi have taken a pilot into custody after he threatened to intentionally crash a stolen plane into a Tupelo Walmart today. Authorities say the man stole a Beechcraft King Air 90 from the Tupelo Regional Airport this morning and later called 911 to say that he was going to crash it right into that Walmart. The store and nearby area were evacuated. Negotiators made multiple attempts to contact the pilot while the plane circled around for several hours. Authorities said the pilot will be charged with grand larceny and for making terroristic threats. The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency says some of the inspectors at the Russian-occupied nuclear power plant in Ukraine will stay at the facility. Jay Gray reports from Ukraine.
Hey, let's get right to what's happening inside the plant right now. 6 inspectors continuing their work and saying that they have really been allowed to go anywhere they'd like inside this nuclear facility. They will be there through sometime this week, and then 4 of them will leave. 2, though, are going to stay behind. The Ukrainian officials as well as the Russian officials have said they'll agree to let 2 stay and really assess how the plant is running and what dangers may come up as this war continues. We know that there's structural damage at the facility right now, and that continues to be a major concern as the fighting has intensified in this area. But there's another problem with this plant that sometimes gets overlooked. Look, this plant has to have power coming back in to cool the reactors. They've already seen the plant go offline several times. Generators kicked in, so it hasn't been a major issue. But that's something that continues to be very concerning as well. That's the latest from here in Zaporizhia. I'm Jay Gray.
The U.S. State Department has approved a potential $1.1 billion sale of military equipment to Taiwan as tensions with China continue. The billion-dollar sale, which was announced yesterday, is expected to include 60 anti-ship missiles and 100 air-to-air missiles. President Biden's administration said the package has been under consideration for some time and was developed in consultation with Taiwan and U.S. lawmakers. The sales must be reviewed by Congress, but both a Democratic and Republican congressional aides say they do not expect any opposition. Later on Valley News Live at 10, after a terrible crash, a Minnesota woman was treated to a special self-care day.
And temperatures tonight will remain fairly steady, but they'll slowly decline until about 6 a.m. when we'll reach about 51 degrees. Those clear skies will remain perfect conditions for viewing those northern lights. I'll let you know when there's a chance of rain in our future, though.